Hello students, this is Sujata coming with our channel Class 10 NCERT SSC Maths with Sujata G. Now let us see the third chapter, pair of linear equations in two variables. So now here there are the three topics. Introduction. First topic is introduction. Second topic is graphical method of solution of a pair of linear equations. And the third topic is algebraic methods of solving a pair of linear equation. So students, one by one we introduce or we clear out our topics. Okay. So first topic, that introduction. An equation in the form ax plus by plus c is equal to 0, where ABC are real numbers and AB is not equal to 0, then such a number is called as linear equation into variables. Okay, so here in this definition, if you see, there is a general formula. Okay, that general formula is that ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. Okay, general formula, then we can call it as the standard form also. So our linear equation in two variable is in the form ax plus by plus c is equal to 0, and where abc is not equal, abc are real numbers, ab is not equal to 0, then we can call it as the linear equation into variables. Now here, if there are a pair of linear equation in two variables, then their general forms are a1x plus b1y plus c1 is equal to 0 and a2x plus b2y plus c2 is equal to 0. Okay, and then if there are the linear equation in pair form, then we can solve easily by the different types of the methods, and that different types of the methods are, that is to solve a pair of linear equations by graphically. Okay, then second method is by substitution method, and the third method, that is the elimination method. So by following these three methods, we can solve these linear equation into variable. So let us see the first method, that is the graphical method of solution of a pair of linear equation. Graphically, we have to solve a pair of linear equation into variables. So how is it solved? Okay, so let us see, that is a pair of linear equation which has no solution. Okay, suppose there are the pair of linear equation, and sometimes that the pair of linear equation do not have solution. That means it is called as inconsistent pair of linear equation. Okay, see that the inconsistent, that linear equation should be inconsistent. If the solution has no solution, there is no solution. Secondly, we can say a pair of linear equation into variables which has a solution. Yes, a pair of linear solution has a solution. Then we can say that a consistent pair of linear equation, that equation should be consistent. Okay, then third one, we can say that a pair of linear equation which are equivalent has infinitely many distinct common solutions. Such a pair is called a dependent pair of linear equations into variable. Yes, if you get the infinitely many distinct common solutions, so we can say that such a equation has a dependent pair of linear equation. Okay, and the next one, that is A dependent pair of linear equations is always consistent. Yes, if you get the infinitely many distinct common solution, then that such a pair of linear equation in two variables has consistent. Has consistence means they have a solution. Okay, so this way if you summarize these such a solutions, then we can see here tabular form the representation of a pair of linear equation in two variable. Then this point will be clear out. Okay, so first one we have to see about the first column, compare the ratios. Second column for graphical representation, either in this column we say that the lines are intersecting lines, parallel lines, either that lines are coincident line. And the third column is for the algebraic interpretation. In this column, we say that we get the exactly one solution, that means the unique solution, or maybe that solution no solution, or infinitely many solution. So either that exactly one solution, no solution, having infinitely many solutions, then we get the consistency of system. That means the consistent or the inconsistent, a pair of linear equation in two variable, consistent or inconsistent. So let us see this chart and observe carefully. So here, if there are a pair of linear equations in two variables, so their general form is a1x plus b1y plus c1 is equal to 0. And second one, a2x plus b2y plus c2 is equal to 0. Now see, here we have to make the ratios of the coefficient of x. The ratios of the coefficient of x are a1 upon a2. The ratios of coefficient of y is b1 upon b2. And the coefficient of, the ratios of constant are c1 upon c2. So this way we get the ratios a1 upon a2, b1 upon b2 and the c1 upon c2. As they are equal or not equal, then our consistency is dependent. So here the first condition is if a1 upon a2 is not equal to b1 upon b2, then we can say that the lines are intersecting. If a1 upon a2 is not equal to b1 upon b2, then the lines are intersecting. That means we can say that we get exactly one solution. And the lines are or equations are consistent. Okay. Now the second condition. Second is if you get the ratios in such a way, that is a1 upon a2 is equal to b1 upon b2, which is not equal to c1 upon c2, then we get the lines as a parallel. The lines are parallel, and in this condition we get no solution. The lines has no solution, and that means they are inconsistent. So the equations are inconsistent. Okay, and the third condition is that if a1 upon a2 is equal to b1 upon b2 is equal to c1 upon c2. See carefully, all the three ratios are equal here, and that means we get the coincident lines. If the coincident lines, that means infinitely many solutions. We get the infinitely many solutions, and that means a pair of linear equation has consistent. So this way, in tabular form, we get the representation of pair of linear equation into variables. Got this point? Now here, if descriptively, if you see the descriptively, then we can say that the lines may intersect in a single point. So in this case, the pair of equation has a unique solution. That means consistent pair of equations. And the second one, the lines may be parallel. So in this case, the equations have no solutions and inconsistent pair of equations. And the third condition, the lines may be coincident. So in this case, the equations have infinitely many solutions and consistent pair of equation. So this way we see the three conditions, three cases for the representation of a pair of linear equations into variables. Now, if you want to clear out these points, so we have to take some examples. Okay? So the first example is x minus 2y is equal to 0 and 3x plus 4y minus 20 is equal to 0. So let us see a pair of linear equations are consistent or inconsistent. We have to see the consistency of this pair of linear equation into variables. So here the first equation is x minus 2y is equal to 0. So compare this equation with general form of a pair of linear equation into variables a1x plus b1y plus c1 is equal to 0. So that means here a1 is equal to 1, b1 is equal to minus 2, c1 is equal to 0. Okay, c1 is equal to 0. Now after getting the values of a1, b1, c1, then come towards the second equation. Second equation is 3x plus 4y minus 20 is equal to 0. Now compare this equation with general form of a pair of linear equations into variables a2x plus b2y plus c2 is equal to 0. Then we will get the values of a2, b2 and c2. a2 is equal to 3, b2 is equal to 4, c2 is equal to minus 20. Okay, so now after getting these values of a1, b1, c1, a2, b2, c2, then we can find out the ratios of a1, b1, b1, c1, b1, b2 and c1, c2. Then let us take out that examples, take out these ratios. a1 upon a2 is equal to 1 upon 3. Okay, so call it as 1. b1 upon b2, value of b1 is minus 2, value of b2 is 4, so minus 2 upon 4. So now make the simple form. So it will be 2 ones are 2, 2 2s are 4. So minus 1 upon 2. So call this as the second equation here. Then the third ratio of c1 upon c2, which is equal to 0 upon minus 20. So here answer is 0. Okay, so now here observe carefully these three equations. What are the values of these three equations? So here 1 upon 3, minus 1 upon 2 and 0. So we can observe that here three ratios are different. The values of three ratios are different. So that's why we can say that the lines are intersect. In this case, we can say that lines are intersect. So in this case, the pair of equation has a unique solution. The pair has a unique solution, and that means finally we can say consistent pair of equations. Okay, a pair of linear equations in two variables are consistent. So this way we can find out the consistency or inconsistency of a pair of linear equation in two variables. Now let us see the another example. Second example, 2x plus 3y minus 9 is equal to 0 and 4x plus 6y minus 18 is equal to 0. Okay, here first equation is 2x plus 3y minus 9 is equal to 0. First our job is to find out the values of a1, b1, c1. So let us find the values of a1, b1, c1. So compare this equation with general form of a pair of linear equations in two variables a1x plus b1y plus c1 is equal to 0. So we get the values a1 2, b1 3, c1 minus 9. Okay. So now the second equation is 4x plus 6y minus 18 is equal to 0. Compare this equation with general form of a pair of linear equations in two variables a2x plus b2y plus c2 is equal to 0. So therefore a2 is equal to 4, b2 is equal to 6, c2 is equal to minus 18. Now our first job is completed to find out the values of a1, b1, c1, a2, b2, c2. Okay, now our second job, that is to find out the ratios. So a1 upon a2 is equal to 2 upon 4. So in a simplest form, we get the value 1 upon 2. Call it as the first equation. b1 upon b2 is equal to 3 upon 6, which is equal to 1 upon 2. Call it as second equation. And the third one, that is the c1 upon c2, which is equal to minus 9 upon minus 18, which is equal to 1 upon 2 in the simplest form. So call it as third equation. So let us observe carefully what are the values of equation of 1, 2 and 3. That is the values of ratios. So here first equation and the second equation. The values of first equation and the second equation, that means the values of first ratio and the second ratio are equal, and also the third equation is also equal. So that means from equations 1, 2, 3, we get a1 upon a2 is equal to b1 upon b2 is equal to c1 upon c2 also. So that means we can say that the lines may be coincident. Here in this case, we can say that the lines may be coincident, and in this case the equations have infinitely many solutions. As the lines equations have infinitely many solutions, then we can say consistent pair of equations. Okay, so here consistency is proved for a pair of linear equation into variables. Okay, so this is an easy way that we can find out the consistency of a pair of linear equation into variable. Okay, clear out this point? Okay. So now let us see the third equation, third example. Third example is x plus 2y minus 4 is equal to 0 and 2x plus 4y minus 12 is equal to 0. These are the two given equations, and we have to find out the consistent, either these equations are consistent or inconsistent. So let us find out first equation. See the first equation, x plus 2y minus 4 is equal to 0. Compare this equation with general form of a pair of linear equations in two variables a1x plus b1y plus c1 is equal to 0. So a1 is equal to 1, b1 is equal to 2 and c1 is equal to minus 4. Now the second equation, 2x plus 4y minus 12 is equal to 0. So compare this equation with general form of a pair of linear equation, a2x plus b2y plus c2 is equal to 0. So here a2 is equal to 2, b2 is equal to 4 and c2 is equal to minus 12. Okay, our first job is completed. First step is completed. Now the second step, to find out the ratios. So here a1 upon a2 is equal to 1 upon 2. Call it as first equation. b1 upon b2 is equal to 2 upon 4. In the simplest form, we get 1 upon 2. Call it as second equation. Third, c1 upon c2 is equal to minus 4 upon minus 12. We get 1 upon 3. Then call it as a third equation. Now see carefully the values of the ratios. Here, if you see, then a1 upon a2 is equal to b1 upon b2. But which is not equal to c1 upon c2. Which is not equal to c1 upon c2. That means we can say that the lines are parallel. In this condition, the lines are parallel. So that means equations have no solutions. As the equations have no solutions, that means inconsistent pair of equation. Yes, the equation of pairs are inconsistent. Okay, got this? Clear out this point? Okay, students. So now here, from the without drawing the graph, we can conclude that either a pair of linear equations in two variables are consistent or inconsistent. Students, thanks for watching our videos of 10th NCERT Maths. Keep watching our videos continuously. We are sure that you will get 100% success in maths. So, like and subscribe our videos